Can you hear me?
My apologies, ladies and sorry, Lakshmi here. Hi, Padma, and hi, Luisa Torres. Have I
Yes.
spelled your name? I mean, have I pronounced it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Welcome to Women Economic Forum,
Thank
and
you.
this is going to be a half-an-hour session with 12 minutes allotted for each speaker, and we will use the other couple of minutes or 3 minutes for wrapping it up. And may I take it's my utmost pleasure, honestly, to introduce the most gorgeous ladies to the world.
You're
Um,
so kind.
it's Luisa Torres, a
Yes.
community leader and an advocate
Yes.
working in the social development space.
Mhm.
Luisa, power to you. I think
Thank you.
we need more people. May your tribe increase. And we have Padma. Padma is another. We have become friends in the last few days. I think that's the technology, has enabled us to actually get to know each other so well. And Padma is again, she is an entrepreneur, a lifestyle and wellness evangelist, or a specialist, however you wish to call her. Now, ladies, your topic for the day is self-care versus burnout. Knowing it all. Let's hear it from y'all. Over to you, Louisa, first, and then Padma will take on the mantle of this discussion. May
Okay.
I request you to express your views on this subject?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure and it's such an honor to be here with so many fantastic speakers and women.
Thank you
So
so
let's
much.
jump right into it, right? So why self-care? Self-care is absolutely crucial, absolutely crucial. And the way I came across self-care as a practice was through burnout. I spent the last decade in absolute burnout and operating from a state of complete burnout, right? So I was working 2 jobs. I was going to school at night, doing 2 graduate degrees, back to back consecutively, operating as a single mother, showing up for my community as an activist, as an advocate, And so I was a master burnout, actually an expert, right? And so, what that does to your body in a decade, what that does to your nervous system, right? When we talk about operating from a flight or fight response for 10 years, and that means not eating properly, that means not sleeping properly, that means not having proper rest constantly, essentially not having a life, right? Not dating, not enjoying holidays with my family, not living life normally, no breaks at all. So, operating from this state, my nervous system was in complete shock. So once it all ended, when school ended, I started having, interruptions in my sleep pattern. I started having panic attacks in my sleep. I started experiencing things in my body, right? Because the way stress shows up, it shows up in your body. And
True
so
that.
I knew immediately I needed to step into to change my life, have an entire revolution, not just in the streets, but in my life, right? Um, so this is how we came about. This is how I came about, making major changes and stumbling into self-care as a practice, So when we talk about self-care, what is self-care? It's a practice of preserving essentially your mind, your body, and your spirit. And self-care is vital. It's vital for building resistance, especially towards stressors in your life, right? That you're either unable to eradicate or you're unable to control. So it's about being proactive about preserving yourself so that you can operate at maximum capacity, so that you can show up for your life. And especially now, as we are seeing a rise in the mental health epidemic, in the midst of a pandemic, right? It is absolutely crucial. We're experiencing heightened states of stress, heightened states of, with COVID-19 in the states where I'm calling in from, in the great state of New Jersey. There's great civil unrest. There is a lot of oppression that people continue to face every day, a lot of racism, a lot of sexism, and much civil unrest. So these constant states of stress, what that does to your body. And as a woman of color, as an activist, as a community leader. I'm a part of, different boards for different organizations and things. And it's just, self-care for me, it's sacred. It's about preserving myself, right? And oftentimes I have to, put my body on the front line for a cause. So what that does to your mind, body, and spirit long term has great impact, right? So it's a way that I combat oppressive structures also. And to reiterate what the great Audre Lorde once said, she said, caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation, and it is a political warfare. So I'll tell you what self-care is not, so that we can better understand what it is. It is not some Band-Aid for some underlying issue. It's not an excuse to take a day off and go drink mimosas at a spa. While that can be a part of your self-care practice, of course, and I incorporate that into my self-care practice, right? And my self-care regimen, but it's not that. What it is being deliberate and being intentional about how you love yourself and how you show up for yourself. Self-care and self-love is revolutionary, and it is radical. Make no mistake about it, self-care is resistance. It's intended for our collective survival, especially in times that we live in where, many marginalized communities and people continue to be under attack all the time. You must preserve yourself, and you must preserve your people. So how do we stumble onto what a self-care plan looks like, right? What does it look like? So you have to ask yourself, what are your daily habits? What do you consume mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? How are you loving yourself, right? And also it's about being in connection with your body, understanding and knowing your body. What is your body telling you? So do you have pains? Where are your pains in your body, right? Like my stress, I carry it in my upper body. So I know once I'm tense and I'm feeling it in my shoulders, I need to dial it back and take a step back, right? Are you exercising? Are you eating properly? Are you drinking enough water? It's about all of this. So I like to break it up into 3 categories. I like to break it up into mind, body, spirit. They're all interconnected, right? So when we talk about self-care as a practice for your mind, I ask myself, like, okay, what are you listening to? What are you exposing yourself to? Are you intentional about who you follow, what content enters your mind? Because it enters your mind, it enters your body, and it stays in your body, right? So what are we listening to? The music that we listen to matters. Are we reading? What are you reading? Are you praying? Are you meditating? Another big one, setting boundaries. This is a huge one for me.
Going on here.
Are you setting?
Louisa, I think it's so wonderful to hear your interpretation of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the most important thing we need to practice.
Yes.
We can practice it. It doesn't matter whether we are rich or poor or
Yes.
Colored or non-colored, whatever it is. I think it's very important. I think that leads to self-worth. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I would like to invite Padma now to express her.
Oh, please. Yes, of course.
Topic, since there's something which we can debate for quite a long time, but since we are really stretched for time with specific, allotted time for every speaker, I think it's my pleasure to invite Padma and give us your expressions on this topic. It's your expertise area also.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Thanks for having me. And hello, Louisa. Lovely to hear you as well. And I'm so excited to be part of this very interesting topic on self-care versus burnout. I'm going to start like Louisa just shared. The word burnout, for me, I did not even know how it manifested. So I'm going to give a little short story on how I jumped on this train, as I call it. So this is 20 years ago, 2001, and my son was just born. And I recall I used to have very bad lower back pain. And I just thought, oh, I'm a young mom and I work a lot. I work 20 hours a day and I travel a lot. It's got to do something with that. It never gave in. And then it became debilitating. And I'm speaking to you from London today, but that time I used to live in Dubai. And I just thought, okay, one more flight and then I'm going to take rest. One more flight and then I'm going to take rest. So I ended up in London from New York, strangely enough, from where you are, near you, Louisa. And then I got into the hotel room and I locked the door and the bellboy was knocking on the door to bring my suitcase in.
Mm.
I couldn't open the door. My body just gave. I couldn't even stand up because my lower back L3, L4 had given way. And I was like so embarrassed because I couldn't open the door. And that's when I realized, I said, oh my God, what's happening? So I had to call Dubai to call the lobby because I didn't know the number of the hotel for someone to say, I can't come to the door. Can you imagine, all in 2 seconds? So then they had to call a doctor, and then they said, your back is really bad. You have to go in for a surgery. And I'm like, I'm not going in for a surgery. And that's how my journey into how does stress manifest in the physical body happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm born into this family, but I never practiced it as much as when it started happening to me, physically and personally. And I loved what I did for a living. So I didn't think it was burnout at that stage in time. So what is burnout is what I'm going to go into today, because I think Louisa explained more on the personal side. So I've listed on a few points if I can talk about what it looks like. So what does burnout look like? Most of us think of burnout as working 18 to 20 hours a day. Most of us think of burnout as being sitting in the office all the time. Most of us think of burnout as not spending time with the family. Most of us think of burnout as your brain just being fried. Well, this is my idea of what burnout might look like, or popping pills. But burnout, I've just written it down here, is also not just those aspects. Burnout for me, and what I've noticed with the people that I work with, need not be just work related only, because if that's the case, Mahatma Gandhi used to work 21 hours a day. Nelson Mandela was in prison 26 years, back-breaking work of, cutting rocks. So he should have had a burnout within the first month. Well, he didn't, did he? So burnout to me is a lot more than just physical labor or something that we do for 21 hours or 22 hours. Burnout for me is where I have noticed when people are not connected, like Louisa pointed out, in the mind, the body, and the soul. So sometimes you can work 21 hours, but be so connected to what you're doing. And it becomes a place of nourishment.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I mean? Then to me, it's not necessarily a burnout. Then it becomes, I'm not saying it's self-care. We'll come into that in a minute. So what is burnout? The symptoms of burnout are like millions of different things, but it could also be something where you love your job, but you dread going home. Maybe you don't have a very happy relationship at home. Maybe it looks like there's a sadness, there's something that's pulling you back, or where you're pulled in 2 different directions and you don't know which way to go. Confusion in the mind. What are the symptoms of burnout? I'm going to go in through a few symptoms of burnout. People usually, if you're not in this industry like 3 of us are speaking, people don't connect. They would go to a hair salon 20 times a month, think, oh, my hair is falling off. I'm getting alopecia, not connecting it to burnout. Or they might take, antacids in plentiful, thinking it's something to do, oh, my stomach, I'm eating the wrong food. Or they might think, oh, my skin is sagging, or I look dull, I need to go to a specialist for my skin. When really the problem could be all pointing to there's something else that's wrong with you. I want you to take interest in your full being. So burnout, the symptoms can manifest in the physical, like Louisa had, like she said, like I had.
Absolutely.
It could be in the emotional, where we think we're doing great, when you just think, oh, no, it's just work. I work 21 hours, when really it might not be work. It could be something else. Or it could be work and we don't realize it, thinking, oh, I need the salary, I need this money. I'll just work for another 6 months and then I'll go back to my children and husband, or whatever, loved ones, or to my community, or I leave this country and go back home, wherever home is, which I've seen happen in plentiful in Dubai, where I used to live, or wherever we live. So burnout does not have to be only one aspect of our life. It can be in any aspect of our life, be it physical, be it emotional, be it material. Because some of us, the world has taught us, especially like what again Louisa pointed out, we've been programmed in the head to think we need to have the car, we need to have a home, we need to have a fridge, we need to have, X, Y, Z, or you're not complete. So we need to realize completion, this is for me, it's all about not existing, but thriving, not surviving, but thriving. So burnout is when you're just on the survival line, not just materially on any level, be it the physical level, the spiritual level, the emotional level, or the mental level, but going into the thriving mode. We have 70,000 thoughts in our head every single day. 70,000 thoughts, like what Louisa just pointed out. Where are we giving our attention to? And it's interesting, there's only two real emotions in life. It's either fear or love. Everything comes under that. Isn't that fascinating when you really think about it?
Very true, absolutely.
You know, whatever we put, it can come under love or fear. So there has to be a line. The simplest thing I tell myself is, where is this coming from? Is it coming under love or is it coming under fear? So if it comes under love, it's not a burnout. You see, when it comes under fear, mother's love. We all say this. I come from Asia. Lakshmi, you come from Asia. Louisa, you come from an amazing community where we are all family bound. So we all tend to think, oh, I'm doing this for my child. I'm doing this for my child. But sometimes we could do something for a child from a place of fear. Then we can burn out. But if you do it from a place of pure love, saying, you know what, this is not going to be a problem, then maybe, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but it might not look as a burnout. It might just look as basic physical exhaustion, which you sleep off or you do a massage, like you pointed out, and then you get back into the next day. Like a tree, when there's no rain, it goes into a little, drought, and then it comes back up. So this is my version. I think I'm very conscious of the time. You need to sort of stop me here, right? So
that's okay. We will allot you another 30 seconds.
Yeah. So self-care is the opposite of what the expressions of burnout looks like, where you physically are well, where you're emotionally not feeling safe, where you're mentally feeling traumatized. We don't even know you're in a trauma. You get a headache or you don't feel sure. When we are not sure of something, then we need to go into a space of self-care to understand ourselves. So I always say the key for lack of burnout is going deep on the inside and locking ourselves into a place of complete love for ourselves and for our surroundings. When we are so confident and we are so aware, then self-care, there's steps for self-care, like what Louisa pointed out, then the rest comes under that. How do we do that is another question. So I hope that was slightly helpful.
Absolutely amazing. And you really got the concept of social conditioning into this. We are all such conditioned human beings, which is, I think, a primary cause for stress in our systems.
Yeah.
So, which actually, typically in all our societies, I think a woman is conditioned, to give. And we never think of ourselves as entities, and we need to care for ourselves. When we care for ourselves, I think we could contribute much more to our families, our societies, and our professional beings. We wear multiple hats. I think both of you ladies, you've got great experience, and actually you have delved deeper into this subject owing to your own personal experiences, and you have captured the beauty of the need for self-care and how we need to do this. I think we need to have a couple of sessions, and if you're open, we would like to send you all invites, and we could have various programs for women around the world. We do have scope to do these things, and I think I would like to take this conversation forward. We are just stopping this for the day and the season with a reason. It's something which we just can't drop, we need to carry this forward. We need to carry this networking forward. And both of you are, so good in conveying your message. I think it'll be very impactful. And I think we will connect offline, and honestly, we would like to carry this forward with you all. But in the meantime, we thank you immensely for taking part in this Women Economic Forum, and WEF, short form for Women Economic Forum, is so pleased to award Louisa Torres, the iconic woman creating a better world for all.
Thank you.
Sorry, we don't, the crowd Please applaud the beautiful lady. And Padma, you too, the most wonderful person I've ever met. And WEF Award on you is the iconic woman in creating a better world for all, whether it's Dubai or London or India. It's absolutely fantastic. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart, because I've been interacting with you in the last couple of weeks. And I know what you bring to the table, when you are talking on your wellness concepts. Thank you very much, ladies. We have another session starting at 4:30. If you wish, we would invite you all to stay on for the session if you have the time. So can we, would you like to give it a thought? Would you like to stay on in that conversation? Or you would like to get back to your work? It's open. We have a wonderful lady coming in. Her name is Sarita Patwal, and she's going to be talking on a very interesting subject again, on a topic. This is the art of effective negotiation in business. So okay. I leave it open to you all. I leave it absolutely open. See, we are informally formal. There's nothing that says that you can't stay on for the session, because it's good to have more people, understanding, and also an audience for a speaker.
Yes.
Although we have a lot of audience outside the screen, I leave it open to you all. The choice is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
In my case, I'm going to gracefully say thank you, but I have something else. But I want to leave this from my side is for every woman out there. Children cut and paste what they see their mothers do or their families does.
So true.
So, I call as a Shakti, strong is sexy. So that as a woman, I think once we all believe strong is sexy, our children in the future world is going to be, humility, compassion, and strength is a combination I believe in. So thank you so much, Lakshmi. Lovely, Louisa. It was so nice
thank
to
you. Very nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
What's happening in America?
Thank you, Padma. Thank you.
Yeah.
And best wishes to Kelly also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. You can actually press leave meeting and
oh really? Is that what it is?
You can get teleported. Louisa, wonderful to our speaker has not yet come. Maybe you could tell us more about how did you understand? How did you understand that here? Well, I'm in a point of self-destruction, so to say. I'm completely being destroyed from within. What is it that I have to do, to start caring for myself? So, how did you actually discover this, and what did you do to come out of it?
Yeah. So, as we kind of mentioned earlier a little bit, a big part of it is listening to your body and having that connection with your body and listening to what your body is telling you, with the stress and it manifests physically in your body and it stays in your body. So oftentimes that looks like headaches, that can be backache, pains everywhere. So being in contact with that is huge. And I think another huge practice is self-care, looking at it from like a spiritual practice also. When we care for ourselves, we're also honoring our ancestors, right? Like my grandparents literally worked themselves into a grave, an early grave. So when we talk, like my grandmother worked since the age of 12. What was rest? She couldn't rest, right? So I honor my ancestors by resting. Yeah.
No, it's a very, very ancient culture of yours. Yeah. The civilization is so ancient, and there's so many common elements between the Indian civilization and yours. And yes, I think the grandmothers have a lot of wisdom to share, and it's up to us to pick up these wisdoms. In self-care, if you look at, if we actually go back to ancient history, the way people lived their lives, women, I think, had a lot of dignity. There was a lot of dignity those days.
Yes.
And there was a space and time for them. There were times when women were given rest. A person post-delivery was given enough time to care for her body and mind. Because post-delivery, there are certain depression situations we go through. And there's definitely a huge challenge to the physical bouncing back. And
absolutely.
When women go through their monthly periods also, there was special, self-care scenarios there. So I think there was a lot of self-care embedded into the societies. I think today we are facing the challenges of multitasking, We wear
Right.
many hats. I think in all those scenarios we do, I think it's left to every person, every woman to understand I need to care for myself.
That's
How we
right.
do it is something which we need to figure out. And
Right.
it's very, very unique because
Right.
we are blessed with our own intelligence and our ecosystem. So putting all these things together, I guess, uh, end of the day, summing it up, I think self-care extremely important. If we
Absolutely. You
don't,
want to
if
change, yeah, you want to change the world, you have to start by loving yourself. It's as
loving
simple as
yourself,
that.
I think that
Yeah.
that's the core of it. That's the core
Hmm.
of it. We have our next speaker, Sarita. She is just coming in. You're muted, Sarita. You're muted. Sarita, you're muted. You're muted. If you can hear me.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me there?
Yes, we can.
Hi,
Sarita,
Lakshmi. Yeah.
hi, Sarita, and so good to see you.
Same
And
here. I mean, so nice to connect, face to face over here on this
absolutely,
platform.
absolutely. After having worked so hard together,
Absolutely. Hello, Lisa there. How are you doing?
we had a wonderful conversation with Louisa and Padma, who just had to leave the session. She was done with the session, and Louisa has been so kind, and she's really interested in meeting you and being part of this conversation also.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay, great.
let
Nice
me
to meet you.
introduce Sarita Patwal. Sarita is a hospitality professional. She works for the Sofitel Group and she's director of sales. And Sarita is based out of Mumbai, that's India. And she's going to talk on a very interesting subject: how to effectively negotiate on your business decisions. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much. First of all, once again, I would like to thank WEF for giving me this opportunity to speak on this topic, which is the art of doing negotiation, the art of doing effective negotiation in business. So we all would agree, won't we, if I say that on daily lives, we are doing some of the other kind of negotiation, be it with our parents, be it with our colleagues, be it with our friends. But doing negotiation in business is crucial. Why? Because the entire business depends on it. So today I'm going to tell you a few tips which are based on my real life experiences and which are going to maybe help you out, how to do effective negotiation in business. Personally, what I have realized during all these years that negotiation has three phases, which is pre-negotiation, during negotiation, and post-negotiation. And all these phases are equally important as what you do during negotiation. So how to prepare yourself? So the first thing is, please do your homework. Be prepared. Now it's easier said than done. So how to do that? How to prepare yourself? Well, whenever you're meeting any client, please do a research on him. How? Check their websites, try to understand their upcoming projects, and also go through their LinkedIn profile. Try to understand their backgrounds. Also, whatever matter you're going to negotiate on with, please understand the history of it. Maybe your colleagues had done business with them in past. So try to dig more and try to understand your client. If you're prepared well and if you have done your homework very well, you will be more confident during your negotiation. And if you're confident, the chances for you to win the negotiation increases. Now, the second thing is break the ice. Now, what do I mean by breaking the ice? Well, in real time scenario, what happens that you might be meeting people, whom you already know. But what happens, they are accompanied by people whom you know and whom you're going to meet for the first time. And you're sitting on a negotiation table. So how to break the ice? The easiest and the quickest way is use humor. Everybody loves it, and everybody
Very
is put
true.
on ease very fast if you use humor. Now, the second thing is that I'll give you an example. For example, if you're walking in your client's office, you really like the decor of your client's office, like the ambience, compliment them. Use compliment. Everybody loves it. but please be genuine about it. Because if you're not going to be genuine about it, it might do the reverse effect, which you are definitely not looking forward to. Now, the third thing is that whenever you are going to discuss on an important, of course, negotiation are always based on important matters. Before jumping into the matter, talk something general. Maybe like how they are doing or how's the weather today. Hope they didn't find any traffic. Try to bring in a general topic because that will create a comfortable ambience. It is very, very important before you start a negotiation, create a happy, friendly, and positive ambience. Another thing, so you might meet people, as I just said, that whom you're going to meet for the first time. Please acknowledge them. If you acknowledge them, they will feel valued. And you never know, there might be a secret influencer who have a say for the negotiation. It's just that they didn't take the lead for the negotiation and you are thinking that they are not important. So even if they are not saying much, but when you are introducing or getting them introduced, do acknowledge them. And even after the post meeting, please thank everybody individually. Now, when you're doing negotiation, what is important? When, usually what happens that again, in real time thing, you get a mail or a phone call. Usually the query comes like this, that, they have a requirement and please let us know what you can do about it. And usually what people do is that they take their own sweet time to revert, they are internally negotiating on that, taking the rates, and next day they are sending the offer. What you should do is act as fast as possible. Do not waste time and be hungry for the business. By saying that being hungry for the business doesn't mean that you got to be desperate. No, by being hungry means be serious for your business, because business really matters at the end of the day, and that's what they have appointed you for, right? So I'll give you my real life experience on this. What happened that years back, I was working with a top-notch luxury brand, and one fine day, one query landed to me, which was saying that they had a requirement for a resort kind of property. There was no contact details given, for client. I Googled it. I got their contact details. I called them up. I got connected to the end client immediately and asked them if we can meet ASAP. He said that he'd been very busy, but if you can make it in an hour or 2 hours time, he would be happy to meet one. Well, that was a very short time period, right? Like 1 hour, 2 hours time, and then you have to drive yourself to the office. But the query was important and we needed to be aggressive. So I spoke to my boss. Thankfully, when she was available, we both landed in their office, and the client was quite surprisingly, like he was really happy to see us over there, and he really appreciated our seriousness. During negotiation, we realized budget was not the issue. It was just that the query for them also ended up at the last moment. They wanted to close it with a good property and with, who can commit good services on immediate basis. You won't believe we closed the query by the end of the day. When we got the deal, me and my boss, we were discussing, we might have lost the query if we wouldn't have acted fast. We just got it because we wasted no time there. Now, why I'm saying that? Because the mail which came to me, that mail had gone to my competitors also. And no matter I say that I belong, I was working for a top-notch brand, our competitors were not bad. If they would have gone before than us, they would have gone there. They would have really sealed that business into their kitty. So it's very, very important to take business very seriously, be hungry and act fast.
Correct. Sometimes it's not always about the brand.
Yes, absolutely.
When I say a brand as in a company or a product, it's also the brand we, the brand I.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm coming to the point, in fact, yeah.
I think that's what made you clinch the deal.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. And now the next thing is that try to understand the nerve of your client. When I'm saying that, I'm not asking to be a doctor over here, but at times you do meet people who are very, very straightforward. So whenever you are having a meeting with the client and he's insisting, on some point that if he's insisting on budget and again budget, please take him seriously. Budget means math. Budget means a lot to him. As I just gave you an example of my last negotiation over here, the budget was not the issue. It was a time constraint and they were looking for great services and we provided them that. So whenever a client is saying something, insisting on that, take it seriously. There are, we consider, I don't know whether I have time to actually narrate all my experiences. There was a very beautiful experience over here when the client actually insisted on budget, budget, budget. And we thought that everybody keeps a buffer. We also keep a buffer, for some amount. And we wanted that buffer out of him. And when we said that this is our BATNA, which is like best alternate terms to your negotiation agreement, your walkaway rates, and we said that this is it, and he believed us, and he went to the competition. He closed the deal because he didn't have any buffer. So please try to understand the nerve of your clients. It's very important. The more you know your clients, the more business you're going to close. Now, another thing is chase. At times what happens that we have negotiation meeting, and it's not once, it's multiple. It starts from an email, it goes like various show rounds happens, and various telephonic meeting happens, meeting at your office, meeting at their office. So many meeting happens, but never ever lose interest and keep chasing. Why I'm saying that? There would be a point when you want to just say that, oh my God, I'm done with it. But trust me, when you're going to crack the deal, you would realize it was worth it. There was one deal.
All the trouble, yeah.
Yeah,
I
there was
think
one deal.
you have
Absolutely.
another 2 minutes to.
Okay, yeah, I completely understand that. So I'll try to, just quickly say what I want to say. So one most important thing, what I've realized during all these years is that don't ever compromise on ethics and values. As Lakshmi just said, that you build your brand. As we, no matter you're working for a brand and you're representing a brand, when you are deviating from all these ethics and values, you're not only putting a bad picture to them, but because you are there in the market for such a long time, you're also creating an equity for yourself. Your brand is getting built, you are building relationships, and if you build good relationship, trust me, people, before even starting the negotiation, you're going to win the negotiation, because your client likes you, because the client feels you that you are reliable, you are the one who would crack something with, you will come up with a win-win situation, and you will provide a value to them. And it's over years you build that kind of equity or reputation for your company and for yourself, which happens automatically and parallelly.
It's such an ongoing process in life. And honestly, I think I would like to kind of connect the topic which Louisa just spoke, and then your contribution to your topic. Louisa, would you agree with me if I say we need to negotiate with ourselves for
Absolutely.
self-care?
Yes.
That is actually very brilliantly put. Yes.
We need to, because it's worth it. It's worth that negotiation.
We're worth it. Yeah.
And
I was just reading a quote which said that in life you don't really get what you deserve, but you get what you negotiate for.
That's right.
Honestly, so
true,
very well said.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I think let's all decide to negotiate for self-care and a life which is worth living.
Absolutely.
End of the day, when we are consolidating ourselves, whatever age we are, we should look back and have a great time. Oh, wow, that was wonderfully lived,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
there shouldn't be any regrets.
WEF takes this opportunity to thank Louisa once again, and to thank Sarita Patwal for not only coming in as our speaker, but she's become part of the team which put this, which actually put this WEF together, and she's helping us so much. I'm really so grateful to you, and amazing contributions of yours, which I think we would. I'm taking this opportunity on this platform to thank you once again. And WEF is very happy to confer the award of the iconic woman creating a better world for all.
Wow,
that's
thank
Sarita
you so
Patwal. And as I mentioned to my earlier speakers, unfortunately, our artificial intelligence has not grown so much that we can actually teleport an award to your residence or your office, which are part of the world where you live. But we are going to send it through an email as a soft copy. And we wish you great success. And you can share the soft copy on your social media. But in case you want a beautifully carved wooden plaque award, we're happy to ship it to your location. So we will connect with you offline and we'll take this forward. Thank you very much, ladies, for
Thank you.
the lovely contribution to such interesting topics.
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
very
Lakshmi.
much, and
It's an
stay
honor.
safe and
It's
stay
really an
blessed.
honor. Thank you.
And we will stay connected.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I leave?